Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at a cruiser built for 8.0. This is my Des Moines. It is a legendary build, as you can see in slot 6. Everything about this build, though, I've played multiple times in 8.0 and gotten really comfortable with the environment. This feels like the most universal soldier build that I can make that's available in 8.0. So the only changes, if you remember the old build, instead of advanced firing training, which used to extend the AA range, and also in slot 3 I had the AA range extension, I'm using my accuracy of my guns because honestly flak is not as useful as continuous damage. Manual AA also enhances that. I could get basic firing training, but I don't need it. I like to try and get as much of everything so I can be that all-in-one soldier that can fight every scenario and win it. That's what the Des Moines represents for me. So, between defensive fire, manual AA, and just using the sector system correctly, you have more than enough AA protection. I did choose to stick with concealment. It is nerfed versus the 712 and previous version. It used to provide 12% better concealment. Now it only provides 10% for cruisers, but honestly, 10% versus 12, not a big change, and cruisers need that concealment. So everything has a use, and it's been a considered use for sure, because this is probably my favorite experience in the game right now. Legendary Des Moines is just a real treat. Now, this enemy Yamato, he is not enjoying my Legendary Des Moines. It has just parked perfectly into a broadside punishment. AP, awesome. HE, awesome. Since he's broadside, I chose, stick with AP, get a little bit of sticking damage, and we should be able to average between 4 and 8,000, which is an insane amount of damage. However, we're spotted in this position now. Why are we spotted? I was confused for half a second. Enemies trying to fire on me. Fortunately, I was able to avoid it. It's actually the JB. And the JB is trying to punish, but I'm using my acceleration, my legendary acceleration, to move into position. Now, someone mentioned, oh, Notser, I don't believe that you get double benefit from the acceleration modules coupled together. That's why I'm trying the rudder. But in my experience, I do notice the acceleration. Now, maybe I'm just crazy, but I do think that the double acceleration helps a little bit to move the ship back and forth. Regardless, though, we were able to avoid that, and I'm considering, okay, what's my next plan of action? Do I try and engage the JB as he's moving towards the center of the map? There are a couple cruisers that could or couldn't, and yes, he is absolutely continuously moving here, so I have to leave the area. I have no choice. And I would love to leave the area very quickly. Please hurry, and this acceleration will be a great test to see how well it actually works out. Yeah, I do think that I have slightly less acceleration than my other build. Oh, please don't kill me. Oh, way too vulnerable. Way too vulnerable. I've got to hide behind this island for a while. I want to try and stall this out so we can both take out the enemy aircraft carrier and also know the cross traffic in this little gap here. I can't afford to take another damage. So I was looking, I was like, okay, enemy Yamato's gonna die. My radar's up in 30. It would work in my favor if I would just wait to use radar before I tried to cross through that little gap. If I go through the gap and there's someone that can, punish me, it's over. It's done. That's too much to risk on a player that, honestly, I feel like I can win the entire game. This ship is capable of winning the entire game. So I'm just going to slow it down and play the right way. We've got what appears to be a Neptune, a Zhao, and a Des Moines, all in the area, plus a couple battleships on the right side. And oh yeah, that Des Moines, he was attempting, Admiral Dingleberry, of course, Admiral Dingleberry was attempting, he was attempting to maybe ambush me, but I was nimble and accurate and maneuverable enough that I could get very quickly into a safe position. And I want to try and exploit that position by firing on this enemy Zhao as he flashes over this area. And I just want to verify, where are his guns rotated before I go completely. And I am showing up every once in a while. And okay, looks like he's angling away. Looks like I'm about to run into an island. And I want to very carefully not run into the island. Oh, no citadel, but really great damage. Okay, check the island. Good, good, good. I can't go too far out because of the Des Moines and the JB. Both of them have good angles of fire, so I want to stay close to the island while also keeping an eye on these guys. And yep, okay. Looks like the JB's moved up a little bit. The Des Moines not spotted. There's a Neptune that could be holding this angle. Okay, there's the Des Moines. The Des Moines chose to sail the other direction. Fine with that. I am a little concerned that the Neptune... oh, of course. The Neptune just barely backed out of the way. And I saw him for 1 second. Looked like the front guns would have clipped the island. Back guns maybe would have done some damage. Probably should have pulled the trigger. Teammates are trying to fight off the multiple battleships on that flank. I'm going to go around. I'm going to work on the Zao. I'm going to work on the Neptune. There's plenty of players that are grouped up together that can fight the enemy. And this honestly is dragging them back so they can defend the base. Ooh, nice. Friendly Zao gets a nice big punishment. Enemy Zao looks to have tried to torpedo, but clearly it's not going to work. And looks like they're dealing really well with the friendlies. The friendlies are dealing with the JB quite easily. Finning actually takes him out in his Harugumo. Okay. And the Neptune actually went forward, rotated around, and it looks like he's going to be positioned perfectly so I can punish him really hard. I can't wait to smack this AP in his broadside, and yeah, he has no idea. No idea. 5 citadels on the first one. Of course. 2 more citadels, 7 citadels, just like that. Devastating strike. And I'm going to transition over to the North Carolina. Now, the North Carolina is not that hard to fight in a Des Moines, especially a legendary Des Moines. I could decide to stick with AP, or I could load some HE. And because he's angled so openly, I was like, maybe stick a little longer on AP. It's doing good damage. But ultimately, I want to layer with the Zao, do some high explosive stacking, 2, 3, 4 fires, force him to burn along with the damage, and then maybe I'll consider going back into my AP salvos. And I'm not leading him as good as I want. We've got 1 fire, and clearly he's not a fire prevention battleship. We get our second fire. Actually, we get 3 fires total. It's going to force out damage control. There's the damage control. And now I have to consider, okay, do I keep firing HE? All of the fires that would be set on the target, they wouldn't set because he's immune to it. But I'm mitigating the damage quite well. Keep up the fire, right? While all this is going on, the enemies are at our base. They're actively trying to capture, and I am contemplating, do I go back towards our base, or do I try to get into a punishing position? Get into a crossfire as my enemies bog down, or as my friendlies bog down the enemy at our base. If I can do that, then I can use my teammate's position to then ambush the enemy and hopefully knock him out quickly. One of the issues right now is that they're in such a powerful position. They've got islands blocking most of the punishment, and they have their bow presented to friendlies. So I'm just trying to take away that advantageous position. Now we're going to skip ahead because this is just me sailing one direction. So as I'm approaching, you'll note that one of the enemies has been knocked out. One of the enemy Des Moines moved into a capture position. But this is also, made him vulnerable to friendlies. Friendly Montana wipes out the Des Moines with a great shot. There is still what looks to be a Shimakaze attempting to capture. That North Carolina actually got away from my teammates. And yep, there's a Shima. I could choose to use my radar here. This was the one thing I was considering. If maybe he was in smoke and he was only body spotted by the Tirpitz, but they're able to safely kill him. I don't have to contribute anything to that, and I'm just trying to verify the health that remains on every single target. That enemy Des Moines that's way out to the west, they're retreating with the Salem. And it looks like I will have a broadside opportunity on the enemy Izumo. Now, the Izumo is not to be trifled with anymore. It is a very good ship. I don't think players realize as how strong it is. Its accuracy is very consistent. And oh, we look like we got a little shot through that gap. It's not going to be adequate enough. Got to continue forward and get past that big island mountain. Ooh, the Salem. Barely alive. Friendly should be able to finish him off. I will absolutely punish this enemy Izmo. Now, there is a North Carolina. And if I openly fire, I will have to verify that he is not in line of sight. If he is in line of sight, then I want to make sure I don't die to him. And ooh, nice broadside. Is this enough to finish him off? Ooh, I missed the location a little bit on that second shot. I'm missing the location on every shot. And oh, here's a response from the Izmo. Ooh, big punishment. Very big punishment. We take the damage, use the heal. Yeah, I'm spotted, so that means absolutely the North Carolina is definitely there. He's broadside, so I'm just going to fire more AP. My AA system can't reach the aircraft that would or wouldn't be spotting me if the North Carolina was, so I'm not going to worry about him. I'm just going to focus my effort 100% on the North Carolina. And we are looking for that kill shot. Aiming at the top of the hull because clearly it's dropping completely down. And is it going to drop down into the Citadel? That would be really cool. Enemy Salem's taken out too, and there we go. See you later, North Carolina. Man, the Des Moines just makes the North Carolina look like a chump. And the funny thing is, it's not. It's really not a weak ship. It's just that the Des Moines, and especially this build, it just is so good at everything. It's good at maneuverability, so it's harder for those slow American battleship shells to really catch it out on anything other than a close to medium range. If I'm near my max range, it's very hard for him to accurately predict the location I'll be. But we're moving down to the last known target, the enemy Des Moines. Yes, there wasn't any aircraft carrier, but I have played with this build against aircraft carriers, and I have been successful in fighting off pretty much all of the attacks very, very easily. Not as easily as the range extension build that was the Des Moines, but it's easy enough that I don't want to invest any more in it. So I'm really happy with this build. It feels great. It honestly feels great on any heavy cruiser that has to do a little bit of protection for their team. You know, the Zao, the Hindenburg, the Des Moines, all of these ships can really do the same thing from that build standpoint. Depending on what I'm looking to do, though, oh, we got him around the island. That's great. I was looking for the Citadel, finish him off, and yeah. Legendary Des Moines is pretty good. This build is very good. It's outstanding in everything. We earned 1 million credit, 189,000 damage done, 4 kills, 2,371 base XP. Everyone on my team carried. If we didn't, we probably would have lost that game. Very happy with that. Very happy with the Des Moines. It's exactly what I played prior to 8.0, and I'm glad I was able to refine the build further. Leave in the comments what you think. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.